Prosecutors dropped murder charges against a Chicago mother and her teenage son. That family is now suing the city.
They say the charges caused them great harm after they were in jail and in juvenile detention for 5 days. CBS 2's Asal Rasai was at the news conference where Carlishia Hood talked about her pain.
She broke down as she talked about what her life has been like since the shooting inside the Pullman restaurant. Her attorneys saying the attack was unprovoked and Hood is the victim in this case. They've filed a 4-count complaint against the city of Chicago and the officers involved. It includes malicious prosecution, false arrest, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
My life changed. My son's life changed. I've experienced pain in many ways that I would never have thought, never. What happened to me was totally unnecessary.
She's raising a son that knew that when she said to step about it, son. The only thing I'm sorry about is that the boy got blood on his shirt.
Hi everyone, I'm your host, owner, and creator of The Mix. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. As you can see what this video is going to be about. Yes, it's going to be about Chicago State's Attorney Kim Foxx, who dropped the charges against Carlishia Hood and her son. I'm going to also touch on the lawsuit. Yes, the lawsuit that has been filed by Carlishia Hood, and rightfully so. But before I continue with my commentary, review, discussion, and opinion, I need for you all to like this video, share this video, and more importantly, listen to this video from beginning to end. Let's all continue to engage in the comment section. Thank you all for your comments and keeping it respectful, etc., etc. I have some polls going on in my community section, and just head on over there, engage on some of the posts. I have a lot of other information on there as well, and some videos. So let's continue to engage in the comment section. Shout out to my new subscribers. I thank you so much for entrusting me to provide good content for you, hopefully. So thank you for giving me a shot, giving me a chance, and it gets greater later. I am a new content creator. I enjoy doing this. Go ahead and check out some of my videos and some of my shorts. You'll get an idea of what my channel is about. It's a multifaceted channel, and I pretty much pre-record my videos. I've done some live, so head on over to my live section. You'll check out some content. There's not a lot, but hopefully in the near future I will be going live and just up it in a level. And in order to do that, though, I need for you all, everyone, to go ahead and not only those who have not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I need for everyone to smash that subscription button to continue to support The Mix. Another way supporting my channel is for donations. Yeah, head on over to my description section. You'll see the information to donate. All donations go towards content enhancement creation. And again, that's to try to up some levels with creating content from a digital perspective. And we all know it takes resources to kind of, get it up some notches in whatever you're doing, whether it be personally or professionally, but yeah, I appreciate in advance your donations for those who choose to donate. But let me get right into it. And like I said, drop some comments. Let's continue this discussion. But Kim Foxx, she did drop the charges, and rightfully so. And that's the state's attorney's office. So why should Carlishia file a lawsuit? Went over a couple comments, and I try to get to all the comments. My apologies if I get to your comment late, but hey, I have a lot of things going on. And today is Wednesday, so it's hump day, everyone. Having a difficult time keeping up with the days of the week. It just seems like things are just, just passing by. Days are passing by, especially when you are productive and kind of have a lot going on. So I digress. But yeah, so the question is, why should Carlishia file a lawsuit? I noticed too, like I said, some of the comments, some people was like, she shouldn't file a lawsuit, go on about her life, etc., etc. I stated, I think in my last video, that it's rightfully so. She should file a lawsuit if she's been wrong in terms of arrest. I mean, granted, some people don't like to deal with the ongoing hassle of going to court, all of that. And what's important and huge in this is that the criminal charges were dropped. in as it should have been. And shout out to Cook County State's attorneys, Kim Fox. She will be, to my understanding, I guess retiring or whatever, won't be running again. But as I stated in my previous video, head on over there, listen to my last video on this. And matter of fact, I will attach this post. So representation matters for melanated people, especially when representation does what it's supposed to do. So in this instance, in my opinion, it did. Representation did what it's supposed to do because, again, everyone, and if you head on over to my video section, I stated that in a variety of other videos, not just celebrity videos, videos that are for regular people as this, Carlishia Hood, but how prosecutors our attorneys and law enforcement, how everything begins, like the chain of command in terms of, so how do we get to being in court for a criminal case, for whatever criminal case it may be? It starts with a crime being committed, and then it starts with the police showing up, and it starts with the police also giving an analysis as to if the persons or parties should be arrested for the complaint, the criminal complaint that's being filed, or actions that have been done against someone else. So police officers have discretion as well. But okay, so now I went over that. Why should Carlishia file a lawsuit? In my opinion, I think, and I'm going to go ahead and share a screen, I think there was some wrongful doing or wrongful actions by law enforcement officers pursuant to this arrest after what happened to that clown who was beating Carlishia Hood, and her son had to save her and himself because that became an imminent threat to their lives. You can do a lot by punching someone, and who knows what the guy had. I don't know. He could have had a firearm as well. We don't know that. I would like to know what that police report had stated. And keep in mind, people, that police officers, they don't have to do an immediate arrest. They don't. Hence, Florida, when lady shot through her door, deleted AJ. Hey, head on over to my video section. I reported on that. I know that's a different state, but you see the officers in that particular county, the sheriff, whoever's running it, they did not arrest that lady immediately. I think it was 3-4 days that went by. So that shows you, in that instance, with that case, although it's another state, that police officers have the discretion to either immediately arrest somebody or not. But it just seems like, in my opinion, based off a lot of different cases, and I'm quite sure there's thousands of examples, that when it comes to certain groups or certain melanated people or non-melanated people, there's a difference, a huge difference. So back to Carlishia filing a lawsuit. So I believe that, in my opinion, and this is coming from my own perspective as to why she possibly filed the lawsuit, her attorneys filed it against the arresting officers and the city. Mind you, the lawsuit does not include the state's attorney's office. It does not. It just includes the arresting officers in the city of Chicago. As of now, to my knowledge, she has not included the Cook County State's attorneys. Now, I don't know if that has changed or if that could possibly change in the future, because you can add people to lawsuits. You can. Again, this is a civil lawsuit. So why just the officers, the arresting officers in the city of Chicago? Why so? Why so? I believe that something happened, probably unethical. And if you go back to the Travis Rudolph case, go back to that, and that's Florida. Prosecutors are attorneys. Police officers are officers of courts. They have to color inside the lines as well. So if they're not following the rules and they committed some type of violation to Carlishia's rights and her son's rights, then yes, she must file that lawsuit expeditiously. Absolutely in agreement with. Okay, I get murder charges were dropped in it as it should be, but you don't allow someone to violate your rights. This is the Constitution. This is the United States of America. The Constitution is supposed to apply equally to everyone. So why just like, oh no, I'm fine? No, sue the brakes off of them. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen, everyone, and I will dive more into my thoughts about this article I came across. Okay, as you can see, this article is from the ChicagoDefender.com, and I'm just going to jump around and go over some excerpts. Carlishia Hood files lawsuit against city and police officers over wrongful arrest. Keep that in mind. The arrest was wrongful, and I believe that the arrest happened immediately. So, let me continue. Keep that in mind. Okay, Carlishia Hood is suing the city of Chicago and 5 Chicago police officers after she and her son were arrested for a shooting that killed a 32-year-old man at a West Pullman hot dog stand. And Hood filed a lawsuit in Cook County Circuit Court against the city of Chicago and the 5 officers involved in her arrest for malicious prosecution, false arrest, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Let me just pause right there, because the officers, they write up the paperwork report and present it to the state's attorneys. So officers, they do the investigation and present it like, hey, we want murder charges filed. We recommend, it's like a recommendation. They're writing it up based off of all the information that they have or whatever at the time. And again, officers have discretion. So if they didn't have everything at the time, they should have paused on it. And in my opinion, as I stated in the last video, the most the officers could have done, in my opinion, or they should have done, was confiscated her firearms until their investigation was completed. That's just that. Okay, let me continue. It says, on June 18th of this year, my life changed. My son's life changed, said Hood. I've experienced pain in many ways that I would never have thought, never. It goes into what happened at the Maxwell Street Polish place. Okay. Hood, a valid FOID CCL conceal and carry license holder. Mind you, keep it in mind, she's a registered firearm owner, ordered her son to shoot Brown with her weapon, which killed the man, and rightfully so. The lawsuit comes a day after the Cook County State's Attorney Office dropped all charges against Hood and her 14-year-old son. The State's Attorney Office decided to drop them based on continued review in light of emerging evidence. Emerging evidence. So I wonder, did the State's Attorney's Office, did they probably did. I'm inclined to think they probably did. They did some more digging, some more researching, and just didn't solely go off of what the officer's investigative report said. I would love to know what their report said. I would love to know what the officer's report said. Did they get all sides? Did they get all video, all surveillance? I would love, because that's the basis for filing these charges, that officer's report. And the state's attorneys went along with those 5 officers. Whatever they wrote down, the state's attorneys initially went off of that at first. And voila, more things uncovered. That's why they had to drop the charges. And again, state's attorneys, prosecutors are attorneys. Now that I'm like more aware and conscious of how this legal process go, I would say for the most part, a lot of these cases is a money grab and career opportunities, enhancements for prosecutors. And keep it in mind, a lot of prosecutors across the United States, there's very little, especially over the past, I'm gonna say 20 years, there's not a lot of black prosecutors. Let's just keep it real. So we know where the prosecution is coming from. Non-melanated people prosecuting black and brown people at an alarming rate, and then using their discretion, from law enforcement to the prosecutors working together, using their discretion to say, hey, should we go ahead and move forward with this based on the evidence, the narrative, and the law, and, indict this person for ABCD. Just imagine millions of cases across the United States. And then just imagine, too, cases where non-melanated crimes are committed, and you have the law enforcement and prosecutors coming together and saying, no, it was just an accident. Oh, no, we're not going to, because that has happened. And there's plenty of examples for non-melanated people who commit crimes. So, okay, let me continue. Reports have stated that the emerging evidence was likely the video showing Brown assaulting Hood. So I wonder, did the police have that? And they just did not reveal that. That is a violation. Did they have all the video and did not take that into consideration? If they had the video clown who was beating Carlishia, then a law enforcement officers, they are wrong. They are wrong. You mean to tell me if they had all videos of the entire situation, they are wrong. They are wrong. Criminal charges from a murder perspective, on what grounds? I think they are incompetent then. But if they didn't have all evidence, all sides of the story in terms of all videos, then they are wrong. They didn't do their due diligence or investigative type of actions. They just wrote it up and took whatever as that. And then too, if they had all videos and didn't turn it in, the particular video of that clown beating Carlishia, then they're absolutely wrong. So I hope you guys are seeing my point. Hood and her son were cleared and released from custody, and an additional charge against her for contributing to the delinquency of a minor was also dropped. Hood's arrest, an obvious rush to judgment. Yep. Despite the outcome, the ordeal was traumatic, which Hood conveyed at a Tuesday press conference at a Bronzeville law office. Yes, I can only imagine her son. That's who I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about Carlishia too. However, her son, I think her concern is her son, because I'm a mom and I'm a boy mom, and my concern would be my son, my child. I would probably be on eggshells or just really suffering from PTSD. I would probably like, hey, let's go and stay in a hotel, because this is a lot of different emotions involving this. But my concern would be about my son, trying to protect my son, although my son protected me. And it's like, now is there an issue? Is there a possible bounty on my child head? Because people have mixed emotions about this, I think, still. But for the most part, I know myself, I don't have mixed emotions. Her son did what he did, supposed to do in this situation at the direction of his mom. Brandon Brown, one of Hood's attorneys, shout out to their attorneys, said his client was not only wrongfully arrested, but that her detainment was an obvious rush to judgment. So with him saying this, maybe law enforcement did not have all of the video and only portion of it, and didn't even take anything into consideration, like really gathering more information. I mean, they have to do their job. They law enforcement. They should be doing their job, you would think. Her attorneys also stated that she was brutally attacked without provocation by Brown. The suit also takes issue with how she was arrested. It notes that Hood was detained by the arresting officers named in the case and charged with first-degree murder on June 21st. However, the suit alleges that the officers reviewed security footage from the incident and charged Hood even though they knew she did not commit any crimes and should not have been charged with first-degree murder or contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Wow. I want to see the report in detail. How did they write it up? What was the narrative? Because you do know law enforcement officers, either by way of being competent or incompetent or just not giving a bleep, the stories can be in their mind. You know how people say you believe your own lies? That person believed their own lies. It could be that case. This is... The lawsuit asserts that Hood was held in police custody overnight before one of the officers signed and filed the felony complaint for first-degree murder. Wow. So the question is, and it goes back to what I was stating, you guys, about the arresting officers. Did they violate her rights? Did they conduct their due diligence? And if they did not, and if they violated her rights and her son's right, of course, filed a civil lawsuit against the officers and against the city of Chicago. And you know why? Because the officers are employed by the city of Chicago. She did not include the state's attorney's office. Why? Because the state's attorney's office was going off of the report from the officers, everyone. So they're trusting that the officers did their due diligence, their investigative work, and that this was an airtight indictment. Okay. Defendant officers caused Carlishia Hood to be taken into custody under false and frivolous charge of first-degree murder, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, states the lawsuit. Moreover, under the false arrest count, the suit alleges that the named officers arrested Hood without a warrant, probable cause, or legal justification. Oh, boy, bingo! That is another legal claim. They did not get a warrant. You supposed to get a warrant. You supposed to get a warrant. They supposed to have probable cause. What was there? I need to see that complaint, that felony complaint. I need to see that complaint, the write-up by the officers. That is it. Boom. That's what you have. That's the basis of this lawsuit and a few other things. So she has a right. Moreover, under the false arrest counts, the suit alleges that the named officers arrested Hood without a warrant and probable cause. Okay. As a result of the false arrest, Carlishia Hood was damaged, including the value of her lost liberty, exposure to public scandal and disgrace, damage to her reputation, mental and emotional suffering, humiliation, embarrassment, and anguish, stated the filings. Ultimately, according to her attorneys, what occurred to Hood was the intentional infliction of emotional distress. The suit states that the arresting officers detained Hood with the intent of inflicting severe emotional distress or with knowledge of the high probability that the conduct would cause such distress. During Tuesday's press conference, Hood and her attorneys, Brown and Ari Williams, thanked Cook County State's attorneys, Kim Fox, for dropping the charges. We are praying for all families affected by this horrible tragedy, said Hood. I am now in the process of healing and putting my family's life back together. Okay, you guys. So there you have it. There you have it. Drop a comment. What are your thoughts? I felt that the Chicago Defender article was best to cite for a particular post and to be as thorough as possible. But yeah, this lawsuit is justifiable based off of that. I would like to see the felony complaints, how that the officers really determined and what they write up was. I also would love to view the civil complaint and just compare apples to oranges. That's basically, that felony complaint, the officers write ups that recommended to the state's attorney's Fox office to indict this lady on felony murder charges, and then I want to look at the civil complaint filed by Carlishia's attorneys and just compare the two to gain a much better understanding. But I do believe, and this is just my opinion, that she should. Why lay down? Why no sue the brakes off of everybody involved in terms of the wrongful arrest. Sue them. And again, the reason why she did not name the state's attorney's office, to my knowledge, that hasn't changed, and it could change in the future, just never know. But for right now, I don't even think that will happen. You see, they thank Cook County State's attorneys. They got it right. They did get it right. If they did more digging and uncovered new things, new evidence that looks like the law enforcement officers, those 5 officers, failed to disclose. And then 2, you arrested her without probable cause or warrant. And then 2, I don't think you actually truly need a warrant. Probable cause is what, if you don't have a warrant, sometimes probable cause can get the officers around not getting a warrant. But with something like this, why not go to a judge or find a judge to get that warrant? I could be wrong. I don't know if something has changed, but to my understanding, many, many moons ago, officers did not need a warrant, just probable cause. Is that right, you guys? I don't know. I'm not a criminal law attorney. I do not practice law. None of that. I do have a legal background, but not to that extent. But okay. So yeah, go ahead, drop a comment, and that answers the question, in my opinion, based off of my perspective and commentary on these, based on the news reports and what's in the media and the information I have at hand. I do believe the lawsuit is justifiable, and based off of what Carlishia's attorneys wrote up in a civil complaint, it seems as if, and like I said, I want to get my hands on it, the actual complaint, so I could read it. And I used to read those in legal classes. That was part of our assignments to go over different complaints and stuff. And it was just like a movie. I'm like, wow, this happened, that happened. And then we had to read Supreme Court opinions and decisions. It was like, oh wow, it's like this stuff is really happening in the world. It was just really weird. I see how they could take a crime and turn it into a movie. I promise you guys. But I know that's weird and eerie, but it happens, So, but yeah, so like this video, share this video. So that answers everyone's question, if that it was a question. Comments I've seen, not just on my post, but other posts as to just let it go. Why file a lawsuit? Heck no. Heck no. We all have constitutional rights. And it's just like if you get stopped and violated by law enforcement officers, you have a right to file a civil complaint, especially when it comes back around, or if it comes back around that the officers were in the wrong. Yeah. Sue that county, sue that jurisdiction, all of that. You know? So, yeah, you have that right. We have constitutional rights. Duh. Yeah, she should sue. She should sue. They didn't do her a favor with dropping the charges. They did what they supposed to do. Drop them damn charges. Period. Excuse my French. That wasn't no favor. Period. The state's attorney did the right thing. They got it right. And thank goodness that it's a melanated state's attorney at this time, because if it was a non-melanated state's attorney, I guarantee you they would not have kept digging if that was the case, you know, in terms of Kim Foxx's office uncovering other stuff or other things being brought to them. You know, they wouldn't have, come on now. It's plenty of examples. It's plenty of examples. So yeah, they didn't do Carlishia and her son a favor. They supposed to have dropped the charges. That wasn't no favor. They did what they supposed to do. And the arrest was wrongful. So file that civil suit because they wronged her. Thank you all for tuning in to The Mix. Like this video, share this video. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, and shout out to all my new subscribers. I hope this information has found you well. Let's continue with the discussion down in the comment section. I believe to Carlishia, the civil suit, I believe the city will settle with her. It won't go to trial. And they will settle with her probably for some millions, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. Again, like this video, share this video, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.